And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals of the Monday Night Wings of Liberty. We have our top two. We have our, or I should say, we've reached our upper echelons here into our top 8 of players, and we have our Terran, we have our Zerg. A Zerg player for the first time tonight. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner, or I guess top right-hand corner of Daybreak. We have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right-hand, bottom left-hand corner, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is Mixu. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, if we were casting these two in modern StarCraft, in Legacy of the Void, I would say that it's going to be quite hard to call. I could see this going to the ace match. I might lean slightly in favor of Nicoract, just because he's been a little bit more active as of late, but Mixu is still a very comparable player. Here in Wings of Liberty, though, I should have messaged Mixu. I know that Nicoract started playing in 2017. I don't know when Mixu started playing, so that's my bad. I should have asked him. Coming into this. Mixu is also a younger player. So it's also very likely that he never played Wings of Liberty before this tournament. Chances are quite high. Now, though, we're settling in. Let me calm things down. Setting up for the hatch first. 15 hatch opener here at a Mixu. Likewise, Nicoract going CC first. Okay, you have my attention. For the first time tonight, Nicoract going CC first, also on the low ground. Very greedy build here by Nicoract. Imagine if Mixu had gone for an earlier pull timing with earlier lings, then Nicoract would be in a lot of trouble, but that is not the case here, so a bit of a gamble, but is going to pay off. Ooh, Mixu going hatch before pull. Very greedy here. Essentially a gasless opener on Daybreak. Can we get away with this? I mean, the choke, these are some choke points. Mate, what the hell? Okay, first things first. Very narrow ramp coming in towards that natural base, so very defendable location here on the high ground. Likewise, a narrow ramp coming in towards the third as well. There's no point of elevation, but I can see the rationale here of playing gasless. So a gasless build out of Mixu. I will say that this third and natural are very far apart. They're very spread out from each other. That is going to be a little bit more difficult to keep up with, but the attack piles themselves are very one note, and that will help here when it comes to defending with purely queens. As gas is now on the way, so it's going to be delayed gas opener here. Just hatch, pull into gas. And we'll see how we build up. Likewise, Nicoract back at home. CC first, into Rax, into Reactor. I believe it. No SCV Scout. Yeah, no SCV Scout out of Nicoract. He has no care in the world as to what Mixu is up to. He's just going to be focusing here on his own game. Three hatch before pull was very common, if I recall correctly, because Terran has nothing to punish. Exactly, right? Like, as we were mentioning earlier, there is no Reaper. So there is no early game harass outside of an all-in or outside of like a proxy setup, true. But you're not wrong. There isn't as much urgency to get queens and to get lings and to get link speed early on as there usually should be in ZvT. So the lack of Reaper is actually a big factor here. Oh my god, we're playing mech? Let's go, let's mech it up, baby. Second and third building gonna be on the way. It's gonna be double factory out of Nicoract going into Mass Hellion, I would imagine. Of course, Cyclone is not a thing, so battle mech, it wasn't really applicable here as a terminology in Wings of Liberty. There was just mech, which would be Hellion into tank. As Hellions are amassing. Here we go. Building up his Hellions. So far catching an Overlord as well. Love to see it. Does supply block Mixu. As Nicoract does pull away. Pulls away back home. Tech Lab here, we'll see if we do invest into tank production or into Blue Flame. There it is, Blue Flame is on the horizon. So building up towards Blue Flame. Currently, Mixu is in the dark. He doesn't... actually, yeah, he doesn't really know what's going on. He has yet to really confirm the main. He could dive in with the Overlord, but has yet to do so. So Mixu has yet to confirm what is happening in the main bases. Back at him, trying to build up. Drone's going to be going down. So far, 1 drone kill. Just the 1. So Mixu does pull back. Behind this, taking gases. Evo Chamber on the way for +1. Mixu, he needs to confirm what's going on. 3rd TC on the way. Nicoract building up towards his 3rd base. Interesting location for the CC. That's what I will say. Based on where the 3rd base is. He's going to be initially Carapace into Baneling, so Ling Bane here from Mixu. Little does he know that Hellions are banking up, and without something like Roaches, without Banelings ready for this can hit like a truck. As that is a 3rd factory on the way, so fully embracing mech. There's the double army as well for double upgrades. Hellions are revealed. Queen's moving forward. And Lings, can they keep up with this? Blue Flame is done. Oh my god. There it is. Roach Warren in a panic. And the Hellions are forced back. Okay, so far so good. Mixu's holding. Getting a very late Roach Warren out of Mixu. Queens are trying to keep up with the rotations. Boys, they pull away in time. So far, good reaction, good response here by Mixu. Does pull away, does survive. And now we can embrace the longer game state. We've made it, we survived. So with that, Nicoract, he has map control, true. He has more Hellions moving out. Still more Hellions on the way. Getting up to a 5 factory setup. Now landing his 3rd. But no economic damage. From here should be Ling Bane Roach Ravager, or Ling Bane Roach. Oh! Hellions, they threaten a dive. And so far they are going to be shut down. 1 gets surrounded. That's still a lot of Hellions. That's a lot of Hellions. Behind this, siege mode is being researched. Of course, for those who do not remember, tanks, they do not come out of the factory knowing how to siege up. They have to learn it. They have to learn it separately. But is on the way. As Lings, they counterattack, they delay the CC. They force some of the Hellions back home. Even getting SCV kills. Not bad. A couple of SCVs do fall. Now we're getting through that mass tank production. Creep tombs are armored. Yo, let's go. Meanwhile, Mixu out of position. Yeah, Hellions have the high ground. Takes down the Banelings. They dive into the mineral line. It's a 1-way trip. And they will make it in. Spine Crawler's done. Hellions, they get 1 extra drone. No major damage. Lings coming in with a run by. They run into reinforcements and they won't get much done here. Mixu pulls away. Okay, this is a question. This is a question here for the chat. What's the... Oh, as Lings, they get into the mineral line. Infestation bits on the way, working towards infestors. Now, if I recall correctly, was Fungal instant? Is this one Fungal was instant? Or was that patched? Like, what is the strength of Fungal here? Likewise, Fungal used... I believe Fungal should just completely lock down the army. Nowadays, Fungal only slows, but back in the day, Fungal would just completely root them in place. And I remember there was a patch that changed it from a instant spell to a projectile. Am I mistaken in that? Was that a thing? Fungal to play. Yeah, that. Yes, I know, but was it an instant spell or was it always a projectile? That I don't recall. Fungal should be instant. There it is. There it is. That's what's important. So again, Fungal is going to be an instant spell. And here come those infestors. Again, we got the instant Fungal. Of course, it roots it in place. We have the infested Terran as well. True. I mean, mate, infestors, they were broken. They were big boys. Likewise, I'm a little bit concerned here as to the lack of anti-air. Speaking of, that's an upgrade I haven't seen before. Is that the Thor upgrade? I would imagine so. As Helens are going to be shut down. They're going to be cleaned up here by the Ling Bane. So far, no major economic damage, just getting 7 drones. Now, these infestors, they're going to be able to lock down any kind of active army on the map. When it comes to pushing into these siege lines, it's going to be a different story. This is where Broodlord Infestor comes into play. We have the Spire in production. This should be for getting into Hive. I mean, the Hive is already done. Getting to Greater Spire, getting to Broodlords. So Broodlord Infestor should be the go-to from here, assuming that Mixu doesn't break this location. Oh no! Ooh, as we rally, we rally in. Gee, the instant bungle. He saves himself, kind of. Not really. All 3 infestors go down. Massive catch. As Nicoract, he's pushing through. He has momentum. True. Took down all the spellcasters. And Greater Spire still on the way. We're not ready for the Broodlords. He's not ready yet. Nicoract can break through this. Takes down the Banelings. Mixu rotating over, collapsing on the Hellions. Tanks late to siege. Yeah, the tanks, they get completely caught off guard. Late siege out of Nicoract, the tanks go down. And Mixu, he might just barely be able to break through this. Yeah, breaks through the defensive line, gets off every single tank, the tanks go down. And Mixu, he will shut this down. Nicoract getting too excited, Bobby. Got a little bit too excited, got a little bit too cavalier. As Nicoract, he plummets in supply. And behind this, the Greater Spire is almost done. Scan does reveal the tech. He does spot the Greater Spire. But I'm not sure he can do much about it here. Even if he gets ready, even if he gets into Thor production, into Viking production. He still needs to rebuild his tanks. Oh, we're going for the... Let's go, the Doom Drop. Setting up for a massive Doom Drop into the main. Overlords are diving in. Alas, there's nothing in position. A couple of Broodlords are morphing in as well. Yo, remember when you just needed one upgrade to turn every Overlord into a Dropper-Lord? Mate, those were the days. As we rain down here on top of the tanks. Roaches are diving forward. Oh, there's still the one tank. It does go down. And the Roaches, they can hold their own. They can hold their own here against the Hellions. Hellions are forced back. Sutter stepping forward, taking down the tank. And we just came into production. And behind this, more Corruptors, more Broodlords, more Infestors. Mixu refining his army. Oh, we have the burrow. And the Broodlords are revealed. We have a Thor on the way, but there's limited anti-air. These Broodlords, they rain down on the base. Droplords pull away. So for those that are curious, the Droplords, they work more like Brood War. Like in Brood War, you'll just make one upgrade and then all the Droplords morph into... So all the Overlords morph into Droplords. They'll gain that ability. In modern StarCraft, you do it individually, like one Overlord at a time. As the center base goes down. And the Nicoract is being pulled apart. I think it was just a really rough fight earlier. I mean, everything swung in favor of Mixu when he caught out those tanks. Yo, it looks so weird seeing a Thor with energy. It looks so weird. Like, what are you doing? Yes, as was stated earlier, there was an ability on the Thor where they could like stun a ground unit, which eventually went away. Thors are being targeted. There's 2 Thors left, down to 1, down to 0. 0 Thors. And GG gets called. Mixu, he will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Mixu does take a lead in the series. I'm going to lower the volume though. Like it's getting very loud. It's getting very loud. We'll lower the sound a little bit. So we jump in. So we have game number 2. We're going to be loading into Ohana. Let's go. And Mixu, yeah, he's letting us know that he did not really play Wings of Liberty back in the day. Which again is what I assume. Again, some of these players are a lot younger. Mixu's saying that he did play a little bit. He was like gold. He was like silver or gold. Like he dabbled a little bit in the multiplayer of Wings of Liberty. But nothing major. Now, all these years later, let's go. We're jumping in. Jumping into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ohana. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. Down in the series, leaving bounce back, spawning in the top left hand corner. We have the blue Zerg representing himself, representing Mlem. It is Mixu from Finland. There we go. Yo, the fun facts in the chat. Apparently, Thors, they didn't prioritize air in Wings of Liberty, so you have to manually target air units with the Thor. That sounds crazy. Oh my god. I mean, there's so much that was different, right? It's like, in general, I mean, I feel like the way that mech works here in Wings of Liberty, like it's even worse against against Protoss than it currently is, right? Like, I'm referring to like units like the Thor when it comes to Sky Toss. Feedbacks would be that much more effective. This is back when the BC had NG as well. Like the fact that there's NG on the Thor probably hurts it more than anything in a lot of ways. But yeah, hearing that it didn't even prioritize air units sounds insane as well, considering that it's meant to be specialized against air units as well. So interesting. Regardless, we're going to be settling in. Do our initial openers. Once again, hatch first. We'll see if Mixu does open up once again. 3 hatch before gas. Before pool. And Nicoract comes in with the early SCV scouts. If you played mech in ZvT, well, I mean, you say that. I wonder. I'm so curious. I would love to see. Like, I would love to look this up when it comes to, like, Gumiho, right? Like, Gumiho, he was an active player back in the day. Ryung less so. Oh, actually, no, he was as well. I'm curious if any of the current players that are known for playing mech against Protoss, like, played mech against Protoss back in the day as well. Or if they tried it. That'd be interesting. If they even back then, like, they had... Their roots were ingrained, you know? They're like, nah, we'll make mech work against Protoss. We'll make it happen. Let's go. That'd be fun to know if they ever tried it and successfully tried it as well. Gumio did play random. As Mixu takes his third base. This time it's going to be a later third. So Mixu going this time hatch first, hatch gas pool. Much more standard opener out of Mixu, then into the third. So much more standard. Maybe a little bit paranoid about a proxy as he is checking with his overlords, making sure that everything's as it should be. Takes over the Zelnagas. And we can settle into a little more standard game state. Nicoract likewise fighting for control. Takes over the Zelnaga. I would imagine this time Nicoract going to be embracing bio instead of mech, but we'll see. Nicoract does move out early on. Battery under fire. Morling's massing up for Mixu. Mixu cutting drones actually quite early on here. He's going to shut this down. Link speed isn't done, but does come in for the surround. Oh, and he will clean this up. And Marines that will not get away. And Mixu from here, Link flooding. He should be flooding across the map. He invested very heavily into these Lings. And he's pushing. Link speed kicks in. Behind this, Mixu is droning up, so he's not going all in. But very committed, very dedicated. Back at home, no wall, no bunker, no setup on the low ground. But Hellions have arrived. Oh. Hellions in position. CC is denied. Nicoract stuck on one base economy. And really, this is all that Mixu needs to do here. Just contain the Terran on one base. Behind this, going for a 1-1-1 into Banshee. And there is no Overlord to scout. Not yet. Overlord has yet to dive in. But I'm sure after game one, Mixu, he's more willing to scout with this Overlord to check if there is once again mech or something else coming his way. Roach Warren opener out of Mixu. Much safer play here. But much safer play out of Mixu. Do we have any maps that have that feature? It's been a while where the terrain catches fire. Because I don't think that's a thing in any of the modern maps. But I'm sure it was a thing like maybe a couple of seasons ago. I miss it though. I miss it. I think he does rotate. Let's rotate between the bases. More roaches are building up. Nicoract, he's committing to additional Hellion production, so we're playing mech again. Looks to be the case. Cloak is done. Third CC on the way. Much faster third base this time out of Nicoract. Much faster third. Banshees are out. They hit the mineral line. So far, 2 drone kills. 2 drones going down, getting a third, getting a fourth. No spores in position. And there is no lair. There's no detection. No shot. There's no detection. No lair, no overseer, no spores either. Drones are going down. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. Spore now on the way. Heavily delayed. And is this how it ends? I mean, Cloak is running out, thankfully, but there's still no spore in the main base either. Lings again, roasted trying to counterattack. How many? 17! Oh, Jesus. 17 drones going down. This is game-ending damage. This is insane. Behind this is going to be mech. We have more factories. Nicoract is making it up. Does he dive in? There's not many workers. There's not many workers to dive into. As both Banshees survive. So Nicoract getting 17 drone kills. Does survive with the Banshees. He can always dive back in. Hellions maintain map control. Third Banshee on the way. Of course, this is before Hyperflight Rotors, so there's no additional upgrades to really invest into. But Nicoract, he's also safe. Like, because of these Banshees, what are we going to do? Are we going to move out with the Roaches? They're just going to be punished by the Banshees as well, defensively. So Nicoract is very safe here. Behind this, researching Siege, Blue Flame, double armory, double upgrades, third base now being landed. Nicoract in a much better position. And Mixu is stuck at home. Spores require Evo chambers? No shot. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's, whoa. That's insane. Okay. You need an Evo chamber for a spore. Oh. Blizzard, what's going on? Oh my god. Okay, the more you know. I mean, now they're done. Creep proceeded much slower. I mean, that's even a more modern change as well, right? Like, I feel like creep producing faster, even, I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago, we had that change as well. But for sure. Like, creep production has sped up over the years. Has sped up. As the expansion will be shut down. Nice cancel. Nicoract moving in. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that we're being too cavalier. We only have 2 tanks behind this. And a lot of roaches are building up. Nicoract calming down, pulling back. Denies the 4th. Good pickup. At the same time, Mixu going for a massive roach counterattack. Back at home, there's not much to defend. Oh. And not much to defend. Tanks that will siege. Plenty of buffer, plenty of support. Roaches, they hit the 3rd. SCVs are going down. Nicoract out of position, is racing back. Turns back around. Losing how many? 7 SCVs. 7 SCV kills. Tank as well. Not bad. Jeez, the body blocking. Body blocking with the Hellions. They clean up all the roaches. Something you don't see too often, but Hellions beating roaches. Oh my god. Roaches, they get shut down. And Nicoract, he maintains his army. He's pushing in. Tanks, they siege up in time. Nicoract, he actually burns through half his Hellions. The Hellion count is actually getting lower and lower. Has to be careful. Getting ready for those infestors. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Massive pickup. Shuts down the expansion. Nicoract moving in. He peels up. No spore! There's still no spore. Banshees, they can go to town. Overseer still on the way. Going for the expansion even. Hellions, they poke in. Expansion does survive. Mixu's trying to maintain himself. Infestors have arrived as well. They can fungal, they can lock this army down. And we go for a base trade. Do we ignore this? We peel off a lot of roaches. Do head out. Diving on the tanks. Tanks are exposed. Not enough Hellions. Yeah, not enough Hellions. Not enough support. We lock down the Banshees. And the Queens, they will clean up. Banshees go down. A strong fight there for Mixu. These tanks, I feel like we have to get the hell out of here. Tanks are on their own. As Mixu's going to clean this up, the tanks, there's no escape for them. There's no getting out. All 3 tanks going down. Nicoract, he moves out. But again, there's just not as much support for these tanks. They can support themselves somewhat. Zoning Mixu away. Let's get started back. Once again, the 4th base is falling. Mixu going for a massive counterattack. Down. And he can force his way in. Hellions doing what they can, but it's not going to be enough. Roaches, they just bust on through. Again, losing that first fight, he was brutal for Nicoract, and it's just snowballing out of control. Boys being pulled away. They're getting put out by the roaches. And this is becoming critical damage. As almost the entire mineral line goes down. Lings, they're coming to reinforce. Not enough support. Oh my god. Okay, Nicoract, he holds. Does hold on. He holds the line. Oh, we're burrowing in. Oh, let's go, the Infested. It's been so long. We miss you. They collapse on top of those tanks. Oh my god. They're back. They're back. They're going to be able to hold the line. Roaches, they flood in towards the expansions. When I first saw the Infestors coming in, I was like, do we have Nero? Like, what's going on? Oh, right. Infested Terran. They're crazy. And Roaches, they break through the initial siege line. The Hellions, the tanks, they'll go down. And Mixu, he will look to claim the series. Gonna be forced back for now. Nicoract trying to double expand, get a 4th base. But again, just doesn't really have much of an army. Not anymore. I mean, even without the Infestors, the Mass Roach was overwhelming Nicoract. Again, that earlier fight, just overextending with the lack of Hellions, was brutal. Jesus, Roaches are so much slower. Like, they're... the tunneling, they're crawling, mate. Jesus. Oh, he spots them. Does spot them. They are so slow. Despite that, they're going to be shutting down the tanks, of course. There's just not enough tanks. There's not enough Terran. GG gets called. And Mixu will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Mixu, he will claim the series that will advance on into the next round. But a shout out to Nicoract, of course, for embracing mech here in more ways than one. He had a very strong start, killing 17 drones with those Banshees, of course. What I will say is it did seem like Nicoract was maybe getting a little bit too excited. He did overextend with it when it came to his first committed push. His Hellion count got cut down in half. If you recall, he lost a lot of Hellions as he was pushing across the map, which meant that he had that much less to protect his tanks. And with that, he got overwhelmed. He got locked down. The Hellions fell, the tanks as well, and from there, Nicoract, he lost the momentum that he was building up throughout the game. And Mixu did claim it for himself. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Mixu, he will advance on into the semi-finals, where Mixu is waiting for his next opponent. Looks like we have some more matches underway.